How's it going, everybody? DonkeyBalls here, and today I'm going to be reacting to another Nostalgia Critic video. Um, I'll explain in a minute why this. As soon as I get this thing, where's the headlight? There we go. I'll explain one of the reasons. I'll explain one of the reasons as to why I actually kind of like this movie. It holds a significant part of. I guess you said my family. But let's hear what Doug's got to say first. Species of the world. I could probably get copyright for this one because of the music.
Oh, hello. I'm the Nostalgia Critic, I remember, so you don't have to.
Thank you.
Today, we are looking at movie feces, the leavings of a totally horrible piece of crap. And, oh, look at this. I have found a spectacular one right here. That is fucking nasty. And if we're lucky, we may be able to track down what produced this horrible piece of dung.
As we call
I
that.
suspected. I thought this came from a Tim Allen comedy. Right over there, you can.
Oh my god. As soon as he showed that lump of shit, it just reminds me. As a kid, we used to call that Discovery Land. Don't ask. I mean, the schools that I went to, vocabulary was like king. Like, you don't even say crap, shit, poop. You call it Discovery Land. Apparently that was a thing. But yeah, pause like that were called Discovery Land.
See what produced this wretched piece of shit. Jungle to jungle. It starts in the heart, went down in the soul. Look at how sloppy the writing is. Look at how confused the humor is. And ask yourself why the hell there's a 2 in the title even though this is a remake and not a sequel. We must be very quiet while we observe it, but let us venture forth and see what could possibly create such a giant piece of anus butter.
Enlighten me.
Look at that. Oh, yes, we observe here the cleanest and most pasty white of Amazon tribesmen who like to stand on the edge of mountaintops and scream inspiringly for the trailer. We then cut to the next best thing that this family film surely thinks will get the kids invested, the stock market. 300 lots of coffee futures. You call that a hunch? No, Richard, I call that an opportunity.
I want to point something out. Growing up in Chicago was there's a name for it, a commercial city. The thing about Chicago and like New York, we also have a stock exchange as well. So I am not gonna lie to you when I say I will not lie when I tell you that in Chicago they talk like that in public. Mostly in the downtown rich areas where the Hancock Tower, Sears Tower, Buckingham Fountain is. Yeah, right around that area, if you were to be walking down that street for a stroll, you would hear men, women talking like that every single time. It's like a second language to us for some reason. You just pretend to understand it, but you know what they're talking about. It's cool, isn't it?
Lots in this market is not an opportunity. It's a death wish. Knowing that your kids are no doubt sucked in by all this technical talk, the film then proceeds to go to a subject matter that kids want to hear even more about. Divorce proceedings.
I'm getting married to Charlotte in 30 days. In order to do that, I need the divorce from Patricia.
You'll overnight a corrupt.
Also, we have a pretty strict judicial system in the city of Chicago. You know, but here in Florida, they're a little off. You know, like you would also hear lawyers talking about like divorce, assaults, drug-related matters. But most of the time that I remember, I hear a lot of lawyers even talking about money business. You know, they talk about suits, cars, and everything. Stereotypical posh stuff. But this movie is like a second language to me. Not just because it's English, but it's like an English I understand. It's city. while everyone here in the South, it's like town.
Then fly to Kanaima the next morning where you'll be met.
Thanks. See you in 2 days.
So Tim Allen's character, whose name you will never call him, so let's just keep calling him Tim
Well, his
Allen,
name's-
is
well,
off
his
to the
name's Michael.
Amazon to get a divorce from his wife so he can marry another woman. Weird and complicated? Oh, that's merely the icing on this cake of bullshit.
We received this
Wow.
letter from your wife today. Senora Cromwell says that she could not come to Kanaima, but she wants us to get you to Lipolip.
Wait a second, what are you talking about? I traveled 3,000 miles to get here and she doesn't show up? What's that about?
After being attacked by deadly rubber fish, Tim Allen enters
I've
this
always
knockoff
hated
of the mission,
piranhas.
and we see his wife Patricia. Notice how their hairstyles indicate that they met at a Mark Summers Jew Fro convention, very popular in the 90s.
We weren't even married a year and you walked out.
I will confirm another thing. That is in fact true. When I was a kid, adults would always seem to have that hairstyle. Worse than that, my hair almost kind of grows like that without this. Yeah, my hair gets kind of crazy, even without this. Because if I don't cut it for a long period of time, it gets poofy, like almost like a Jew fro. Not to say it's a bad thing, but you know, I'm Hispanic. It looks weird for us Hispanics to have a hair like that. Otherwise, they might as well call us communists.
Out on me.
Now you want a divorce and you think I'm gonna hit you up for money.
We both want a divorce. And aren't you?
I don't want any money.
Great. So we observe that she left because he didn't listen to her much when they were married. I guess he also didn't listen to the part where she was apparently leaving.
I
Nor
guess
the
not.
incredibly forced plot point that he has a son.
I know it at the time, but I was
97 and a quarter. Am I greedy? I feel pretty greedy. I'm just
pregnant
having to wait
with your
until
son.
97 and a half.
The boy sitting next to the fire over there is your son.
Really? I could have chosen the one on the left.
1,000 letters to tell you, but every one of them started with, "I know you never wanted children."
This is nuts. This is nuts. This is unbelievable.
I was confused.
No, you just
I
said to
didn't
me,
know what
this is
to-
unforgivable.
I'm not asking you to forgive me, but he didn't do anything, so don't blame him.
So, as you can quickly observe in this film, these are all, in fact, horrible people. She has a son for 13 years and never tells him.
'Cause
He's
she
too
was
invested
afraid.
in his stocks and bonds.
'Cause
And there's
he's
a Tarzan wedlock because of it.
Mimi Siku.
Maybe see.
So she's a bad person because she didn't say nothing, but she was afraid about what he would say. And of course, he's invested in the stock market because, well, he's probably half Jew. I'm totally kidding. All lives matter. And I will say this, I got nothing against the Jewish community. I'm not sarcastic it. I just always wanted to make that joke. And the result, it makes the most whitest Venezuelan, actually. Technically, he's Venezuelan American, but he... Oh look, movie.
I'm Michael Cromwell.
The boy's name is Mimi Siku. And yes, I've heard manlier names out of Paranormal Activity as well.
Mika.
Palaku tells me
That movie was
that
crazy.
I'm your father.
I thought it was for real.
That's a nice plot you have.
And as you can clearly see, poor Tim Allen can't even tell the difference between a pot and a pan.
Nor does anyone care.
He got that wrong, didn't he? There was some controversy about that.
No, there wasn't.
Don't leave any comments about it. We're not doing another fucking video.
I bet you they
So he
have.
thinks that his son can't understand him, but the child reveals the next day that he can, thus adding to the contingency of liars that makes up this family.
Yes!
I gotta go back to my village. I'm a trader. That's what I do.
This in your village, yes? Women who hold fire up Sky's butt?
I've never had her described by like that.
This, of course, raises the question how anyone, even a lone tribesman, can confuse raising a hand as holding something up this guy's butt. Would answering a question in class be considered this guy's cavity check? Would a high five make these two this guy's proctologist? Even Mimi, we see, is double fisting this guy up the anus earlier. So we come to the conclusion that there's deduction, and then there's just morons. And the morons who encourage the morons.
When I'm a man, will you take me to the Statue of Liberty?
Sure. Why not? Yeah.
We then see Mimi's pet spider, Matika, who Alan does not treat very well.
I will crush you like a bat. Oil.
When did the music get on New
Another
Yorker?
curious moment. If the spider is in fact his pet, why does he look so playful when Alan plunges a rock after it, almost smashing it to smithereens? Insane. say someone threw a rock at your cat, would you laugh it off as a comedic moment? Let's find out.
Oh my God, crackers! Crackers, no!
No.
Son of a bitch, you killed my crackers! Baboon is your Panari name.
Baboon?
Well, at first they wanted to go with man who must be smarter than he looks.
If we get to pick our own names, I'd like to pick this. Man who's extremely well endowed.
As a child, I've watched this movie maybe about roughly 15 times plus. I never understood that line until I became an adult. But again, when you hear that kind of talk in many regions of Chicago or in the upper city, it tends to blow by you. I never understood what the hell that even meant. And it took me till I was in my teen years to figure that out. And to my adulthood.
This movie brought to you by Disney. It turns out Mimi goes through a ceremony that officially makes him a man. So he expects Alan to hold up his end of the bargain and take him to New York.
Mimi, I have you back at the exchange floor. I'm getting married. I cannot take you tomorrow.
Here, if you make a promise, you keep it.
Perhaps she means
Wow.
like the promise she made that she would meet Alan outside the plane at the airport.
Yes.
That's not putting him in this mess to begin with. Hypocritical bitch.
Yes,
This is the
yes.
most
I've
important
always
day
wondered
in your
that.
son's life. And now you're going to humiliate him in front of the whole tribe by not keeping the first promise you ever made to him?
The son you only told him about 2 days ago, again, hypocritical. Biatch.
Yes, that's true.
Me happy to be with
I mean,
you,
he
Babu.
just found
As you
out that
probably deduced, he of course decides to take him with and not bring the mother for some reason.
How much you willing to bet that there's a deleted scene out there where it actually shows how he agreed to that? Like maybe they were talking behind the scenes, maybe the village chief threatened him, you know, or probably, say something like, you know, the penalty for not upholding your promise in this village, you get your nuts cracked. I mean, you know, I've got questions. You know, what happens? Does he get thrown covered in blood in a river of piranhas? Like, what? You know, what is it that happened between those two scenes? How did they talk it over? They still had a night to talk about it. And then in the next morning, he's already on the plane on his way back to Bana City. So that's my question. Why did he now agree to it? Film theory that, please, Matt Pat.
You know the drill, bitch of the hypocritical type. As we see, Alan meets up with his assistant.
Why didn't you sell?
You did not confirm.
What's coffee doing now?
It's under 90 cents and gone limit down for 15 years, Michael. You say sell, I say confirm. Sell, confirm, sell, confirm. You confirm, and I sell. You didn't confirm, so I didn't sell.
Once again, children get to hear that riveting stock market talk. No wonder.
No disrespect to Tim Allen, but Martin Short makes me laugh more than Tim Allen does.
They put this as a double feature with Wall Street. Oliver Stone would be so proud.
By tomorrow morning, it could be 85 or lower.
Just wait it out. Something will happen. The market will turn around.
His boss isn't happy that the stocks they didn't sell are now doing poorly, and Mimi misinterprets this as set Spider loose to commit murder.
Look up! It's an alien circle with Mickey Rourke's picture in it. Look at it!
Why'd he get killed, Chief?
I said I was gonna go
Wow.
fight the chief, not kill the chief. Around here, only postal employees kill chief.
You may also catch on to Tim Allen's only role in this movie, and that's to recite all the lines that didn't make it into unfunny episodes of Home Improvement.
After you pee, you put the seat back down. Females and tribes start war over this.
Magic.
No, magic will be if he understands English. Yellow number 5 and zinc oxide. We've added a sunblock to it.
Wait, I tell a lie. Many of those jokes were from the Geico Caveman show. Yeah, you totally forgot that existed, didn't you? So Alan goes to see his fiancée, who is a fashion designer, and
Ugh.
Mimi immediately falls
The
in love
worst.
with Martin Short's daughter, played by Lily Sobieski.
Angela.
Who I had a crush on growing up.
And now we come to the public service announcement part of our show.
Still looks the
This is
same,
for all
even
you
years later.
aspiring writers out there. For everybody
gorgeous.
out there who's looking to get something published in Hollywood, don't ever use the word angel in your screenplay. Ever. Remember how well it worked in the first Spider-Man movie?
You grabbed me and said, Aunt May? Aunt May? Is that an angel?
That was heinous.
Oh.
How about when that little Star Wars pimple said it?
Are you an angel?
Any movie even starring an angel seems to be geared for pig shit failure. So
Yes.
please, do yourself a favor and act like you never heard of them. Unless you're doing a parody of It's a Wonderful Life. That's okay.
Well, it's a class.
After Mimi pulls a stunt walking on the ledge of a building, Alan's fiance is concerned that she doesn't have what it takes to look after him.
I don't think so,
He's just visiting. I want to show him a good time. After that, he goes back home. And we can go back to being
She was
exactly
actually
the
for
way
me
we were.
hotter in Play It to the Bone
Entirely wrapped up in our
than in this movie.
Just like real New Yorkers.
Because in this one, she
Mimi
kind of seems
finds
like a
it still
bitch, but at
rather
least in
difficult to fit in.
Okay, I remember this part.
We all are so happy today. Let's go.
Wow. After you calm down your
Oh,
children
God, that
from
part
seeing
was
a pigeon
awesomely
getting stabbed
funny.
through the neck, you yourself might be wondering, is this funny or horrifying?
It's
Even that
funny.
woman's scream seems hostilely brutal.
Ugh.
You laugh, but then you ask, am I going to hell for laughing at that?
Well,
Either way,
I
it
got
deserves
some-
the Disney logo. Alan has to go to work, so he puts Mimi in the hands of his fiancée.
Wait, I can't watch him.
You don't need to babysit him.
Yes, you don't need to babysit a kid who walks around on the ledge of buildings, sets loose killer spiders, and nearly decapitates innocent birds. He'll be a welcomed addition to the state penitentiary.
Oh, no, they will not. You wouldn't last in
Oh,
records.
and we can add sex offender to that lineup too.
Nice poochie poochie. That is the last poochie poochie you're gonna see around here, you little savage.
Yes, this is yet another classic Disney phrase that'll make it in the Disney archives. Hakuna Matata means no worries, Zippity Doodah means what a wonderful day, and Pushy Bushy means vagina. I can see that on children's shirts in a millisecond. So Matika is set loose again to partake in what I think is the 5th overused spider joke, and Mimi sets his sights for the Statue of Liberty, and even
The
manages to make his
battleground
way there
parasite
undetected.
with Parasite.
Even though all these people are looking right at him, and yet they tell no one.
Yep.
An interesting trait of New Yorkers, but not a surprising one.
Mm-hmm.
Alan is called in about Mimi climbing
No
the statue, and he
snitching.
tries to explain the ways of New York life.
Didn't I tell you to wait in the
I
apartment?
want to see Statue of Liberty.
I said we'd do that tomorrow.
Always tomorrow. You're too busy for Mimi Seagull. I want to see Statue of Liberty. I go.
Now you might be asking yourself, wasn't he just saying me instead of I in an earlier scene?
Me happy to be with you, baboon.
Maybe he learned.
Well, there's a very good reason for that. Oh, fuck it, I just want to hear that woman scream again. So his assistant
I knew
finds
that was
someone
coming.
else who's interested in buying the stock, which it turns out is the Russian mafia.
Introduce my comrades to you.
Radcliffe
Zig
and
Gills
Cogsworth.
Come. We talk beans.
And
You might be wondering how a movie about a boy in the jungle got to a point in the story where they're talking about the Russian mafia.
because it's a New York movie.
We're gonna take a short little break while I figure that out.
Because it's a New York movie.
Okay, I think I
commercial
figured it out.
break.
The loyalty of the stockholders is at risk, so they ask several people around who have money. They all have zany solutions to the problem, but one seemed investment worthy, with no backfires at all. So they entered into a deal of business with them, sneakily and smoothly.
You know what? No.
That might be it too.
I want guarantee that the price not drop below 75.
Well, would you look at that? It appears we have come across Jumba from Lilo and Stitch.
Now I remember his
No,
name.
I'm not even
Jumbo.
kidding. That's really him. He's also Codsworth and the bad guy from Pocahontas.
Radcliffe.
Obviously, what this movie is trying to say with this casting decision is that Russians are a light-hearted, cartoony folk, if you
They
will,
so are.
that shouldn't be taken too seriously on any occasion. I mean, just look at their leader.
It's an elephant. Yeah.
Alan tells the assistant to get out of the deal, but he foolishly sells the stock to them anyway. But this doesn't get in the way of more sentimental moments like this one.
Why did Palico leave you, Baboon?
I probably took
I
it for
love the
granted.
music, like that subtle
Now you
music
would
in the
charge-
background. I love
Yes,
it.
I am.
Many females in your village, Baboon. Why you pick only one?
that face. Oh.
When you pick one to love, it's very different.
By the way, don't you love how he had to think about that for a moment? He didn't immediately turn it down. Like he thought to himself, yes, I should get some more hoes in my life. But obviously, something snapped him out of it.
Many females in your village, Baboon.
Oh, head.
Why you
feels
pick
weird.
only one?
Oh no.
Oh,
Pick one to
wow.
love.
I never saw that show.
So Alan convinces the mafia later that they want to buy the stock because they don't want to do dealings with the Russian mafia. But as soon as they do buy the stock back, it goes up, making the mafia think they scammed them on purpose. And again, do your children really have the slightest interest in any of this? Why don't we go back to showing Pocahontas for the girls and more animal abuse for the boys? Playing with the blowgun, of course, like a rational parent would.
Oh.
Now, some of you may find the abundance of animal cruelty in this movie
There we go.
slightly disheartening, but not nearly as disheartening as Mimi starting his
really.
one-boy cult.
She's
For
so
as you can
beautiful.
observe, he paints her face, has her speak a new language, and even gives her a new identity.
It's pretty.
Her parents must be thrilled.
John! You started a wildfire in my yard. You ate my yellow dwarf cichlid. And now you're putting the moves of my 12-year-old daughter.
Nothing happened.
Well, you know what, Karen? You're still
Oh my God,
going to
she,
camp. An all-girls camp.
The one who
My
plays
name's
as
not Karen
the
anymore.
mom.
Takume.
She is so
That's
beautiful.
right, Karen's your slave name. However, the Russian mafia breaks in and holds the family hostage, including little Lily Sobieski. Now, that seems kind of pointless. We all know that she's going to join a shady Russian business in the future anyway.
Now, I teach you never make a fool of Jovanovich Sergei.
Oh my God.
Don't interrupt.
I hated this
We are
because of the
witnessing
spider.
what
I
many
hate
Disney films were
spiders.
experiencing at that time. A painfully awkward forced slapstick climax. Shh, let us marvel at how unfunny it is. Now one gag is working.
I'm coming out.
Not even the slightest giggle.
I'm high and I'm not even laughing.
Show me what the chemistries are made of.
She is hot though.
Notice the absence of
I
a smile
have
on
more of
my
a crush on
face.
the mom than Lily. Oh, I never learned how to do that. Oh, whoa! Did I see that right?
Notice the absence of a smile on my face.
How does that work? Oh, I felt that from here.
Oh, well, I hope you feel privileged about what you just witnessed.
No,
What was up with the Vulcan thumping?
I don't know. I never learned how to do
So
that.
the Russian mafia are scared away by a spider.
that's it.
I do wish I was exaggerating that. And we see that
This is
Mimi
like
has
right
to go
here?
back home. Alan tries to give
Whoa, that
back the
felt weird.
blowgun, but the son wants him to keep it.
If you kill a fly, you'll be a real Panari.
Yeah, like that's gonna happen.
He's gonna have a
So it turns
laser.
out one day at the stock market that he does in fact see a fly, literally stabs his boss in the back for it, says fuck you to his fiancée, and heads down to his unnatural habitat. There were some intelligent animals in this movie, right?
Now you're a Panari, Baboon.
You killed a totally harmless creature that we can get no use out of. We even see Sovietsky's family come with, as her father is
Dad,
totally
so
cool with
beautiful.
her diving into piranha-infested waters and getting it on
Why
with
are
dances
they in the
with
water?
mullets.
If there are piranhas, it's like a lake of death, man.
Oh no. Do you see now how a film like this can produce something like that?
Discovery Land.
Experts would describe this as a pretty bad flick. The family connections are considered weak, the logic makes little sense, and most of the jokes are, what's the word I'm looking for? Ah yes, bad. However, a good chunk of animals get hurt. And out here in the jungle, that's always good for ratings. I'm the Nostalgia Critic.
Ah,
by brick and stone by stone, you'll find a way to build the wall. And all we get is more unknown.
Okay, so that was my take on Jungle to the Jungle. It's an okay movie if you understand most of it, but other than that, it's downright silly in the sense of not funny. This has been DonkeyBalls reacting to Nostalgia Critic. Hope to see everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll upload the link to my Snapchat since I finally have one now. So, yeah. Cool.